Several months ago, when I was doing a service, and was talking about what would Jesus do, right? And you remember WWJD bracelets. That's really where that kind of took off. You look at the bracelet and say, what would Jesus do? I did a little investigating on that, and it's really interesting because initially those bracelets started like in the 80s, and I'll give you a little bit of history on that, but that it goes back a whole lot further than that. It goes all the way actually back. The idea goes back to the year of 1896. 129 years ago that idea came in. There was a pastor, his name was Charles Sheldon, and he led this small church in Topeka, Kansas. He came home after an evening service one Sunday, and he was feeling kind of disappointed that there was a very few people that were coming, and the ones that were coming weren't paying attention. Anybody here that don't pay attention? Don't hold your hand up. So he was concerned, and nobody was paying attention to his sermons. So he announced to his wife that he wasn't going to preach a sermon at those services anymore. But instead what he was going to do is he was going to tell a story. So over a period of 33 weeks, he told his congregation a story, a chapter at a time. He told them about the amazing things that happened to a church when its members stopped to ask themselves that question, what would Jesus do? And whenever they were faced in a difficult moral dilemma, what would Jesus do? Now, the effect of his storytelling on his own chapel was equally exciting. His congregation grew markedly in size every week. And as the story developed, they grew as Christians. And as they started to ask themselves that same question, what would Jesus do? So Charles Sheldon's story, when it was published as a book, it was published in a book. It was called In His Steps.